You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Thank you, Lisa. Welcome to Oilersnation Radio, episode 58. It is not the Sebastian Basellion episode.
Nice try, Tyler.
Depends who you ask.
It is the Jeff Petry episode.
Andrew Miller, Anton Slepyshev, and Johan Motin.
What about Johan Ovitu?
I remember Johan Ovitu.
Ovitu.
Forward, D-man, whatever you need. Johan Ovitu is there for
Utility
you.
tool.
Cam loved that dude as well.
He's probably over in France now, isn't he?
Probably.
Playing with?
Sebastian Basellion.
And
Which
there
we
we
just
go.
learned. Sebastian Basellion playing for Grenoble in France. He's got 6 goals in 10 games.
You know, I don't think that there's a podcast out there that has these kinds of facts being sprung at you within minutes.
We are the official Sebastian Basellion podcast.
There you go.
I want to thank our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant, as always, for making this possible. You go ahead and follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. Very close to my heart, I need to bring up Frank versus Gus, where my man is up 5-2, whereas Gus is 1-6.
You are the Edmonton Oilers to his New Jersey Devils.
Kind of, yeah.
So which games has Frank gotten wrong?
He picked the Flyers,
Oh,
and he also picked the Oilers to beat Chicago.
interesting.
And they should have won that game, really.
Arguably.
I'm back to being a believer in it because he now has picked the opposition.
Yeah, Tyler,
For a
why don't you
while-
tell us about your betting schedule so far this year?
No, actually, okay, yeah, fine. I'm not scared of it. I'll dig into it. I do a bet of the game on the pregame podcast, but I always try to make it a prop bet.
Yeah.
Through 7 games, I'm 0-5-2.
Nice. What's today's prop bet against Detroit Red Wings?
Today's prop bet against the Red Wings is the Oilers to be leading after 20 minutes at plus 120.
Wait, so you pushed twice? What did you push on?
Leon Draisaitl getting over 3 shots. He's had over 3 shots in every game except for the 2 games I've told people to bet on it.
So listen to Tyler's pregame podcast if you want to know what not to bet on.
That's coming up a little bit. Well, I guess by the time this is posted, that will already be up on OilersNation.com on every game day. Tyler is going to do one of those.
Presented by Yegburger.
Absolutely. What's Sherwood Ford got going on today?
This month they are trying to scare away hunger. Nick and I were down to Sherwood Ford this week, and that box is not nearly full enough. So we need the nation to come on out, bring out your non-perishable food items. They're very passionate out there because the Strathcona area doesn't get serviced the same way that the Edmonton area does, and so Sherwood Ford is one of the biggest donation collections that they have out there. So if you can head out to our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant, you can walk in, you can literally just put something in the box and walk out. They won't bug you. But if you want to, you can also try and say hello to Gus. You could say hello to our friend David and Drew. You can check out all the brand new vehicles in there. I believe that they have a shiny new Raptor in the showroom.
Get yourself a test drive.
There you go. Nick, what was that new special vehicle they were showing us?
GT350.
The Shelby.
That thing was noisy.
Yeah.
But yeah, scare away the hunger. Help out Sherwood Ford the Giant.
Again, go follow up with everything they're doing on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. They are also doing our question of the day, which we are going to talk about a little bit later, which is what should the Oilers give up to get Taylor Hall if they are so interested? Something like that. Right?
Yeah, that is the question. Should the Oilers pay the price that it'll take to get Taylor Hall? To me,
Are we getting to that now or?
Nope, we're going to get to that
It's
later.
a teaser. This is called a tease.
I'm just
Sorry,
chomping at the
Tyler,
bit to get into
you
that.
can't answer the Sherwood Ford question yet.
Formulate your takes, Tyler. We will get there because that kicked a hornet's nest on the nation yesterday.
Oh boy.
Anytime you mention Taylor Hall at Oilers Nation right now, it is a very divided room, if you will. But first, we got some stuff to get to. So I want to look at the week that was. The Oilers were 2-1-0. This past week, they beat New York and Philly, lost to Chicago. I want to start with the game against Chicago, which was the first loss of the season. Dan kind of talked about it a little bit, that it was probably one that the Oilers should have won. Had a bunch of breakaways. Corey Crawford stood on his head. Sometimes you have to tip your cap.
Yep.
Tyler, what do you think about that loss against Chicago?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they deserve to win. Heading into that game, I kind of looked at it as this is one you probably lose, right? Like you're at the end of that first long road trip of the year. You can understand if the legs aren't there. Mike Smith played really, really good and held them in that game. And Corey Crawford was the reason the Hawks were up 1-0 and not trailing 2-1. Like the goaltending was so huge in that hockey game. And then what happened down the stretch? Well, Mike Smith came out to try play a puck that he had no business coming out to try play, Chicago scores. Edmonton got their goal eventually. Like Mike Smith delivered a frustrating performance, and the whole Oilers were frustrating because there were so many stretches where they just looked bad, and they definitely were not running the way they were early in that road trip.
They did at the start of the game. They came out pretty hot to start the game, and then
the road trip set in.
I also felt like that was one of those games where they were trying to force passes through when they probably should have just been selfish and shot. I find that sometimes when the Oilers are struggling a little bit, that they overpass, they try to get too fancy, and sometimes you just want to grind out a shot on goal, you know.
And especially when maybe your legs aren't there and you are at the end of the road trip, like, don't overcomplicate things. Just if you need to make a quick decision, your first decision should be, I'm just going to throw this puck on net and not make the big mistake.
Just keep it simple at that point of the trip. They looked good at the beginning, got stopped by some goaltending, and after that, I think they kind of just like held on till the end to try and get a one last push there in the third period. It didn't really work out for them.
Mike Smith was frustrating though.
Well, and I think
that you're going to have a couple of those.
Yes.
But he's had a lot of really good saves too, and I think that's going to be a fair trade at the end of the day.
Whenever you
and it's
have
going
a
to be
goal,
really hard to measure what he does when it comes to passing the puck. That was a bad move, but
this is like the Marty Turco past kind of thing with Dallas, because Dallas would always the Dallas fans would be shaking their head half the season because Turco would come out to play a puck and he would make a mistake. But you have to take the good with the bad. And Smith has had some great plays where he's got the puck up, and our defensemen haven't had to make that play that they haven't been able to in the past. So I agree with you that's frustrating for sure. I'm not excusing the fact that he made that mistake, but there's a goalie that, has had one other game against LA where he had two massive gaffes.
Yeah.
And he still has the confidence to go out there and try. And you know what? Well, maybe 8 times out of 10, he plays that puck properly.
But Brian Burke has said, and take it for what it's worth, it is Brian Burke, but they did some sort of analysis in Calgary that Mike Smith playing the puck saved like 100 hits or something that the defenseman took. So if that's worth anything to you, then I think his ability to play the puck has some value. Yes, it's feast or famine though sometimes, and I can see Teller's face right now where he's not a fan of it.
Because through 4 starts, he's costed you directly 3 goals.
But the important thing with that
has his puck playing helped you score 3 goals?
Probably.
Yeah, I would say
no,
so.
And not a
but
chance.
It's also gotten
there's just no measurables.
It gets the puck out of the zone, and that's important.
It allows you to leave
the play out of the zone quicker.
Controlled exits.
Yeah.
It takes heat off your defenseman going in below the goal line.
And the important thing too with Smith, and I think we've talked about it already, is that his confidence and his ability to bounce back is huge. He has those gaffes against LA, and in the past seasons we lose that game 12-2.
You know what's funny though is who's really going to benefit from that is the young kids, because they're going to see a guy who'll go out there and make a bad mistake, but still not get down on himself.
Yep.
And he's going to go out there and he's going to just play the exact same game all the damn time. Whereas before we get scored on, guys get down on each other, and it just keeps adding on. Now you see guys out there who make a mistake and he just goes back to work.
I don't buy that at all. I just think this is a guy who 2 of the 3 times he's gotten burned have been because he's trying to do way too much and he's being over aggressive. The one goal, the Clifford goal, those are the ones I'll live with, where he goes out behind the net, stops the puck, and then just sort of runs out of time and they score. That's fine. The first one against LA, he tries way too hard. He could have just passed it 5 feet over.
He was light years out of the net too.
Yeah, and he could have just passed it 5 feet over to Ethan Bear and gotten back into his net. And he tries to do too much. He tries to, he's trying to be the smartest guy in the room. And same thing with that goal against Chicago. You're having a hell of a game. You're stopping pretty much everything. What happens if Nylander just picks up that puck and comes in? Smith has the angle on him. He has a D-man coming back. And he should just be able to sit there and stop a 4th-line player. Instead, he goes, I need to try to lunge out. Oh, and then half a second later, it's in the back of the net.
But it's just part of the game plan now, and I think that's always what they want to do. They want to start off with Smith with the puck. When anything dumped in like that, Smith, and he's going to make some time. He's going to make some mistakes out there, and he's going to try and overplay it sometimes. But I think in the long run, we're going to have the positives are going to be way outweigh them.
No, I think one mistake in 4 games, and you'd go, yeah, the positives outweigh the negatives. 3 goals against in 4 games.
You just said the second one's not his fault. You can't charge him for 2. But yeah, for 2
2
for
big
sure.
mistakes in 4 games where they're like blatantly preventable, stupid plays.
The first one I'll throw down to communication. I think it was a bad pass because either way, it was still like mid boards. So it was going to be a bad pass. It was never going to be on Bear's stick. But these are the little things they're going to learn. And then come December and January, when they go do the same thing, that defense is going to be exactly where he needs to be. And that puck's going to be, as long as the proper pass, it's going to be tape to tape.
Our goalies have not been the reason we've lost a game this year, and our goalies have been a reason that we've stayed in games that we shouldn't have, i.e. the Philly game.
I wanted to fast forward to Wednesday's game against Philly. Dave Tippett, despite the 6-3 win, lit the boys up in his post-game press conference. He was not happy about how they played, and I kind of understand it. So we're talking about goaltending, and I want to focus on Mikko Koskinen right now. On Wednesday, he made 49 saves, and arguably, yes, I know Connor had 5 points, absolutely ridiculous goal, but I would tend to argue that Koskinen might have been, probably was the reason that they won that game.
100% I agree, Bagmill.
In that second period, they were playing rope-a-dope, and it was driving me crazy.
Yeah, the second period was an absolute nightmare to start, especially. And Koskinen just stood tall. And then the Oilers offense kind of woke up. They got a couple goals there, and it was all over. But
The Oilers offense didn't even wake up. Connor McDavid was shit, here we go again.
I suppose when I say Oilers offense, you could just say Connor McDavid.
But at 5-on-5, they were outshot 33-16. The scoring chances were 31-15. The high danger Corsi events were 16-4. Yeah. Like, they got absolutely caved.
Yeah, no, they got demolished. Like, third period alone, the Oilers' Corsi 4 percentage was 23%.
Yeah, but what was the score on the scoreboard?
I'm just saying.
But you can't play like that. If you don't play like that, you're going to fucking lose.
You're playing with fire, and that's why it was important that Tippett said.
If we're 6-1 right now, playing like the way we've played, we're going to go 1-6 in the next 7 games.
Mikko Koskinen has won them 2 games.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. And a little thing that I saw on Twitter from our friend Reed Wilkins is the Oilers have allowed 50-plus shots 27 times in their history. Mm-hmm. 2 goaltenders have shutouts with 50-plus saves. Do you know those 2 goaltenders?
I know Scribbles is one.
Yes. And Cujo, right?
Cujo.
In a 0-0 tie.
0-0 tie. Very good, Tyler. Yes.
High five to Tyler and I for nailing those.
And following Reed Wilkins on Twitter.
I was just going to say.
Absolutely. Looking at the goaltending, though, the Oilers' goaltending has been solid. Right now, they have a .918 save percentage. We've talked about average goaltending on this podcast a lot. They're getting better than that right now. I don't know how long that's going to last or how long you really want to depend on your goaltenders as much as they have, but it's working right now.
In today's NHL, every playoff team is like that, though, right? Like, find me the playoff team who doesn't depend on their goalies to steal them 10 to 15 wins a season, right? Yep. Almost every single one. So
Binnington
I think
turned around the Blues season last year.
Yeah, Binnington turned around the Blues season last year. Like, Grubauer and Varlamov basically just, if I remember correctly, just went back and forth kind of all season for Colorado, and that was good enough for them. So
Mike Smith was the best Flames player in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's just, you can point, like you said, you can point to any team and leaning on them. But as Beg Milk said, we've banked 6 wins out of 7. And now the team needs to start figuring it out.
But this is where these goaltenders play.
Yeah.
Like, this is Mike Smith's just doing career numbers. And this is exactly the way Koskinen looked last year up until
December.
When they started to get the injuries, and then he played every fucking game. So this is really our goaltending. This is what we should expect from our goaltenders, as long as, everybody in front of them is right where they're supposed to be. And that's exactly what every fucking team does.
One problem I do have, though, is right now the Oilers are depending far too much, again, on their top scorers. I put together a list here. Right now we've got Yurko, Haas, Granlund, Kara, Sheehan, Chiasson, Archibald, and Patrick Russell all have no goals on the year. Granlund, Sheehan, Kara, Chiasson, Archibald, and Patrick Russell are all without points. So right now they are depending very heavily on the likes of Connor, Leon, James Neal. Nuge scored a fucking beauty the other day. I want to give him a shout out because that snapshot was wow. Tyler, you wrote a little bit about this today. I want to check in with you about the Oilers' secondary scoring.
Well, it's been non-existent, right? Like, they don't have the goal at 5-on-5. I dug up the numbers, and it's in my piece on Oilers Nation right now. But, like, even the individual scoring chances for and against, like, the goals against aren't really a problem, but, like, possession-wise and all that, they're kind of just getting caved. And I don't want to, like, bash the bottom 6 too hard, because they're a big reason why the penalty kill's been as good as it has been, and that has helped them win games a lot. But going throughout the season, like, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl aren't going to score at a 190-point pace and a 70-goal pace, respectively. At some point, your bottom 6 has to come through and help you out a bit and give you a game where they score 2 or 3 goals.
Do you guys think
tickets aren't working?
Do you guys think that there are people that maybe are playing well that just haven't cashed? Like, my example would be, like, Nugent Hopkins was getting all kinds of chances. He was hitting posts every single night, and then finally he scored against Philly. Are there guys in the bottom 6 that are kind of in that mix?
I would say Jujar. I just from like my eye test, I feel
That
like he's
line,
playing
I
well.
agree. That line, and I guess the third winger on that has been in and out. Everybody.
Well,
But
that's what I was
those
gonna say
guys.
too, yeah.
Those guys have usually been pretty good when it comes to playing. Hash marks down. And then a lot of times when Jujar has the puck down low, he can body guys off. And next thing you know, he's got the puck. He's the first guy out of the corner. He's got the puck. He hasn't had a chance. He has not had the luck of being able to pop him past the goaltender, because usually he's on a pretty sharp angle. But that works for him.
Yep.
And it hasn't gone yet this year.
Ty-
The
sorry.
real scary part, though, is that other line that's not scary scoring.
Tyler, you would know probably just because you wrote the article, but have we had a consistent bottom six, like two games in a row kind of thing?
I don't know about 2 games in a
Like
row.
we've been kind of piecemealing it together,
Yeah,
with
like
injuries and everything.
injuries.
You mentioned Jujar, like the line combos, if you mean that.
Yep.
Like they have not really stayed the same.
So
They've been getting mixed up. There's been some injuries.
The
in there.
Rangers to Chicago game, actually, I think they did, because
They-
Yeah,
Granlund
they
was
went the
centering
exact
both
same.
those. But like you mentioned, Kara, he's been on the ice for more scoring chances for than any other player in the bottom 6. I don't count Yurkcho because he was in the top 6 for a bit, but he's been on the ice for 21 scoring chances for. He's been on the ice for more goals against than anyone else in the bottom 6 as well, though. So he's been a little bit
fair
kind of
enough.
wild.
See, I
wild
keep
card on
reading
both
bad
ends.
things about Jujar, and I can't find it. Like, I'm sitting here watching him, and I'm trying to find where everyone's getting angry at him, because I think he's had a pretty decent year so far.
He's not moving well.
But I think like for his thing, but like
What kind
for
of
me to-
moving, though?
He seems like, to me, he's not out there moving with a purpose. He's not out there skating with a purpose. He's just kind of like drifting along in his lane back and forth. And if he gets a chance or if he gets the puck, that's when he kind of perks up and, okay, I better shield the guy off or whatever. But I haven't been overly impressed with him, and he took 2 penalties against Chicago. I'm surprised he hasn't been healthy scratched yet.
Well, a guy that is getting healthy scratch tonight, Tyler, you will be very happy about, is Marcus Granlund is not going to be in the lineup tonight. Gaetan Haas is back in for Marcus Granlund. I tweeted out, like, Tyler, you've been, since our season launch party against New York, you've been talking about how Marcus Granlund is not a nice player right now. And I tweeted the other night that he's dry toast, and what is he doing?
Nothing.
Like, outside of, he took some bad penalties, but he's done nothing.
Yeah, like on take away the penalty side of it too. He doesn't do anything positive. He doesn't really do anything negative, I guess. Like plays don't die with Marcus Granlund. Plays don't get created with Marcus Granlund. He's, like you said, he's dry toast. To me, a guy like Gaetan Haas has an element of speed, has a little bit more offensive instincts. He can maybe make something happen and drive the play a little bit. You don't get that at all with Marcus Granlund. Like Riley Sheahan. There's the odd time where you'd be like, hey, Sheahan made a nice play right there with the puck. Josh Archibald will get his offensive chances. Jujar Kara has the big body, the big frame that you kind of like having in your bottom 6. Patrick Russell is a hell of a penalty killer. To me, Granlund's just kind of like, meh.
And it's disappointing too, because he was obviously brought in on a 1-year deal, but to kind of solidify a spot in the bottom 6. And so far through 7 games, he hasn't really done jack shit for me.
It's pretty crazy that on July 1, he's a guy who gets $1.3 million. And then you look at a guy like Riley Sheahan, who I've really liked. He had to wait till like almost September to get like a $900,000 deal. It's confusing.
If we're talking about bottom 6 guys that probably are due to score here soon, I would put Riley Sheahan in that mix.
Yeah, he's had 1 individual scoring chance so far this season. That's the lowest number, but I notice him more than I notice anyone else.
He's effective.
He is. I think he's really effective. I think that was a really strong signing.
And I think we'll
Speaking
miss.
of effective,
there you
I
go.
want to talk about our friends at Sherwood Ford, the Giant. They are effective in every single aspect of what they do. Of course, you can follow them on Twitter. Of course, you can follow them on Instagram. Make that happen today. A little bit later today, we're going to do Frank versus Gus round 8. We will see how the good boy battle shakes up today. Dan, what else they got going on?
Actually, we can announce it now. We'll put the link out, I think, for social soon, but just keep it in mind that Oilers Nation and Sherwood Ford are going to team up this year for the Movember team. And Rick, I know you're going to be involved for sure.
Rick can grow a hell of a mustache. Absolutely.
You gotta.
I don't know if I can do just obviously
do?
I can do it, but I think I got to throw on the whole beard. When it comes to this November, I think you should get a running start at it if you want it.
Sure, why not? As long as
it's-
you're participating.
Yeah, otherwise we all look
100%.
relatively ridiculous. But if you grow out the beard for a month or something like that, now all of a sudden you can have some fun with it.
I'm
It's
in
very
with-
hard to go from 0 to whatever. But if you got like a 13, you can carve all sorts of new shit in there.
Like, I could see you on November 30th with a sweet handlebar.
Oh, I can roll that, no problem.
Absolutely, you could. Go ahead and follow Sherwood Ford on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. Follow up with all their charitable initiatives. Check them out on Instagram specifically, or you are into new whips, because they post some awesome shit there on the regular. Since we were talking about the bottom six scoring or lack thereof, one guy I want to mention who's on a little bit of a roll right now in Bakersfield is Kailer Yamamoto. He's got 4 goals in 4 games. And my question for you gentlemen is, are we getting closer to seeing Kailer called up to the big squad?
The answer should be yes. It should be yes, especially with an injury right now. You can bring the kid up on a 10 to 14. Just talk to him. Go, hey, you've been playing great down here. They need a little help up at the top. You're going up there for 10 days to 14 days. Let's see what you can do. You're only going to miss out on 4, maybe 5 AHL games, right? Because their schedule is so wide open. You could probably pick it. You could probably pick it and make it even less than that. But right now we're at 6-1, so we have some room to play with. Let's not add in, but just by giving up losses. Like, some of these scratch tickets are not proving anything. There is nothing. We're losing nothing by bringing up Yamo tomorrow, today, whatever, and getting him out there and see how it goes.
If we're bringing up Yamamoto, Rick, who are you taking out of the lineup? Specifically thinking of the scratch
and that's
tickets.
The best part of it, because you can put him in there, whether you on the second line or third line, and you're not plucking someone out from there. You're filtering everybody down. And you filter down, now all of a sudden you're winning lineups on the fourth line. You're winning in the third line. And putting Yamo out there with 2 legit top 6 wingers in Nuge and Neal is not something we've ever done before. Whenever we have someone like Yessa, when he was out there last year trying to play on the second line, he was towing around 27. He had to go. He was trying to make up for other people. Now Yamamoto can come out here and play with 2 guys, legit top 6 forwards, and just kind of do his thing. And he can do it quietly. And there's no real pressure on us because we're not fucking 1-6. We're 6-1. We've got some room to play with.
I don't think a team. I hear what you're saying. I don't think a team with Ken Holland as the general manager, it happens right now.
Because he never did it before. Because Detroit was always at the top,
and I'm not saying.
And they always.
Where are we? We're at the top.
Fedorov. Yeah, but we don't have Fedorov. We don't have Lidstrom. We don't have. We don't have all those guys.
I'm not saying you're wrong, and I think
sounds like it.
I think that bringing him up to play in the top 6 is an important caveat.
It's the second. Well, it depends on what you think that fourth, like the Sheehan line, is that your fourth, is your third, whatever. He's going to go up there, and I'm going to start him off with Neal and Nuge. And then if that doesn't work, maybe he gets on that with a Euro line and still add some offensive flair to those guys. He can skate with them. He can PK. He's got some defense in there. You might as well give the kid a shot right now.
I just don't think 4 games is enough for.
So you want
to?
So now, but we're just taking a chance at losing this fucking 5-game over 500 cushion.
You think not having Yamamoto in the lineup could cause the Oilers to go on a 5-game losing streak?
No, but if you don't bring in offense and those guys don't pick up the scoring, and all of a sudden Connor doesn't score for 1 or 2, and Leon doesn't score for 1 or 2, which you think is going to happen anyways, right?
Yeah.
So if those guys can't keep their big pace going and no one behind them scoring, who's scoring?
Same problem as last year.
Man,
right?
we
Connor
sat here.
McDavid hasn't gone longer than 2 games without a point since like April of 2018. So we don't have to worry about that.
Connor can't get it. Connor can't get everything though.
No, I know.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. The whole argument with Puljujärvi, and I'll bring this all together in a second, was he wasn't getting confidence. He had no confidence at the NHL level.
And last year he was hurt, so we can't even use last year.
Well, you can because he was playing, but
but he couldn't play. He couldn't tell anybody. He couldn't do anything out there. He couldn't lean on anybody. He couldn't play he couldn't go against somebody who's physical.
The whole point is that the Oilers are no longer rushing along prospects. Kailer Yamamoto is playing unreal right now. He's on an absolute heater. He's scoring goals. He's looking like one of the best players in Bakersfield. Why would you want to take him out of an environment that is allowing him to succeed?
Agreed.
Because you're not guaranteed that it's not going to project into the NHL. And if for a week to 10 days, I don't think you're losing that much. The way you go back, in 10 days, you got to work on this, and this. Go back and keep going.
Why not just tell him to continue working on this, and this, and keep lighting up the American Hockey League?
Because you could be giving up your 5-game cushion right now over 500.
I don't think Kailer Yamamoto's presence in the locker room does anything to affect a 5-game heater. We are only
but
7.
He can score though, right?
We are 7 games after tonight. It'll be 8 games into the season. The bottom 6 has not played well. They are not scoring. Mm-hmm. It's only been 7-8 games. A lot of these guys project to be 10, 12 goal scorers. That means you should score once every 10, 12 games around there.
Cough, cough, Toby Reeder.
Well, that was going to be my point, is that if we're only 8 games in,
I love when you guys argue, by the way.
is it not fair to say that there's still a little bit of time to wait for these people, these bottom 6 players, to start contributing. The biggest issue is not just that these guys aren't that aren't scoring. The team as a whole isn't shooting enough. We're dead last in the league in goals or in shots per game. 24 shots, I think it is, per game. We're dead last, 31st. It's a whole team issue that you're not going to have secondary scoring if nobody's shooting the puck. That's an issue there. So I don't think bring up Kailer Yamamoto.
Are these guys going to shoot more all of a sudden?
So bring up Kailer Yamamoto is he going to get 7 shots a game and bring up our average?
If he takes shots, I mean, maybe we should have done this before. What kind of shots was he getting when he played in the NHL 2 years ago?
What's so wrong about having a guy be in the AHL and dominate?
Your NHL team can't keep scoring like this.
Kailer Yamamoto is not an answer to an NHL top 6.
And what's the difference between playing him? Like, why, if Bear can be as successful as he is, why can't Yamo be one level less than that and still be a very quality secondary scoring?
Ethan Bear's a lot older, had a lot more experience in the minor leagues. Ethan Bear had an entire season last year where he stayed in the American Hockey League. That's what we should be looking at with Kailer Yamamoto.
He is hurt, and that's fair. I get that.
Kailer Yamamoto.
So was Kailer Yamamoto. He was just hurt for training camp.
I just said that.
Yeah, I know. So let him sit.
And if he was healthy for a training camp, there's no way that we can tell that he wouldn't have won a spot.
I ripped the microphone from Nick to tell you that we are out shooting the Seattle team right now.
Womp womp. I want
I just need to break up the tension a little
to
bit.
answer the question.
Choose what button you want to press for that.
To answer the question, in Kailer Yamamoto's NHL career right now, so far, he's at 1.38 shots per game.
I don't understand this notion that they might lose 5 in a row if Kailer Yamamoto doesn't come up. There's a chance the bottom 6 starts scoring too. Like there's 6-1. To me, don't touch it. You can make your little tweaks, bringing in Haas for Granlund and Nygaard here, Nygaard there. To me, Yamamoto's doing great. The NHL team's doing great. Let it breathe. Let everything go. If let Yamamoto go till Christmas. If we're at Christmas and he's a goal a game in the American League, I'm with you, Rick. Let's call him up.
What record for the Oilers do you start to think of it a little bit stronger than? 6 and what if we go? Again, I don't think we are going to go 0-5, but what if it were at 6 and 6?
I don't think it's so much with the record. It's just whether or not we're getting contributions that we need. I think because we're winning and we're not getting the results we want from the bottom 6. So
but it's not sustainable. And I don't think anyone in this room thinks it's sustainable.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. But I don't think you can base it on a record. I don't think it has anything to do with how well the team is in the standings. It's just how the lineup is contributing. Because, I mean, honestly, looking at the schedule, we could win the next 3 games pretty easily.
They're not good opponents.
No.
Schedule doesn't get hard till about mid-November.
I think Columbus, right? We play, or not Columbus. We play
Washington next Thursday.
At the end of the month, basically, right? So until then, we could be 9-1, and then so if you're saying, well, the record's good, but we're still not getting enough scoring. I just don't think record
for the exact same reason you could bring up Yam right now and give him lesser competition to play.
I mean, as bad as our scoring is, we're still 3rd in the league in goal differential. We're +9 in goal differential. We're behind we have Buffalo and Pittsburgh.
But we have 2 guys who are on pace for
I know
a billion.
So
points.
let the hot streak go. Then if those 2 guys cool off and the bottom 6 still isn't scoring, and it's Christmas and they're 500, and then it's I don't think
more pressure on them then.
If you're calling him up to the NHL, you're calling him up because you think he's going to be a legitimate top 6 winger no matter what the pressures are or anything like that. If he comes up and doesn't score for 5 games and they go 5-0, or if you call him up and he doesn't score for 5 games and they go 0-5, I just don't, from a Yamamoto perspective, he's still going to be sitting there being like, fuck, I'm playing bad and I'm not scoring.
This is where you talk to him, though. It's like an organizational move. Hey, we're going to bring you up. We'll give you, 2 weeks here, and let's see where you're at. You were hurt for a big chunk last year, so we didn't get to see you. We were hurt for training camp this year, so we didn't get to see you. Let's see where you're at right now, so we have a better judgment on everything when it brings into trades, when it brings into who we call up next or anything.
If we're talking about calling somebody up to help with scoring, what about your guy Benson?
See, and I
thought he was supposed to be the guy that was always the top priority to call up.
I think so. No, I think he probably is. It's between him and Yamamoto, but neither one of them got a very good opportunity with any high caliber offensive guys this year because we sent down so early because we weren't looking so hot very early, and we had to get these scratch tickets and figure out who the hell they are.
Josh Curry has 3 goals.
Yeah, but I don't think Josh Curry's ever going to. Josh Curry might be a quadruple A player, though.
So looking at Tyler Benson, in 4 games, he has 3 assists. In 4 games, Josh Curry has the 3 goals, and then Kailer Yamamoto has 4 goals and 1 assist. So those are your leading scorers right now in Bakersfield.
Who's your top prospect?
Along with Cooper Marody has
Brad Malone.
Cooper Marody has the 3 assists in 4 games as well.
To me,
Brad Malone has 5 assists.
good organizations don't look at a 4-game heater of a player and be like, well, Aaron, now's no better time than now to call him up.
To push your point, like that's exactly what they did with Puljujärvi last year when he went down to Bakersfield for 4 games.
The coach, we got to change the coach, and the coach is like, I can fix this guy.
But he
That's
was
what
only
hit
down
you
But
there
it's
for
the
4
same
games.
thing. It's bad to send a player down and up and down and up. You don't want him on the yo-yo.
But I don't think it's anywhere near the same thing because I think he's got the confidence. He's not hurt, and this isn't about coaching him. This is about giving the kid, a 2-week shot, and let's see where you're at right now. It's an organizational move, and it's something we need to know. At least when we come to next year, some of these guys have played some games, and I guess Tyler's on board for bringing him up around Christmas or whatever. But
Maybe.
yeah, and obviously with a situation.
What about a guy that has 2 goals and 2 assists in Sam Gagner?
I think if he was, you probably would have kept him here anyways because he's not fast enough. He looks good down there playing against that competition. But I think at the end of the day, if I'm doing this, it's because I want to know where the player is when it comes to NHL competition, and that's Yamo. I don't really, and I love Sam, but I don't care where he is. I want to know the first guy I'm calling up is Yamamoto, and I want to know where he fits in right now. You didn't get to see him in training camp. So why not take a chance right now? You're not really losing anything. You're taking like a Granlund out of the lineup. Big fucking whoop.
But honestly, the Ken Holland move is to call up the Josh Curry or the Joe Garbandella.
Patience.
That's Detroit, though. Detroit is such a different fucking organization.
Rick, no, I know, but we're looking at what he said at the start of the year that he's going to preach patience, like that he said
And
those words.
He also mentioned that he was looking at kind of Christmas as a.
Yeah, he said he
Bringing guys
doesn't
up.
like to bring him up and put him down and stuff, but this is completely different.
I don't know about that.
I think honestly, I think just so many people are against it because
he's a 20-year-old kid who's like 150 pounds. Like
I think you're selling him short now.
Okay, a buck
Now you're just
65.
taking, taking a shit on Yam.
I'm just saying, give the
How big
kid,
are some of these kids out there that are playing?
Man, Yamamoto's small with a lot of them.
Peterson.
I'm just saying, give the kid time to grow. Give the
He ain't
kid
gonna get
time.
no taller.
Well, but he can fill out.
He can learn how to
get-
play the pro game
Yeah.
for a little bit longer.
There's-
Keep him down, man.
Keep him
Why
down,
are we
absolutely.
so like?
And
Why are we
this
worried?
is just for it's a small move. I don't know why everyone shits on it. Everyone thinks it's gonna fucking ruin his career. You're literally just want
That's
to
what
see
we've
where he
talked
fits
about.
in.
Yes,
You're
Puljujärvi
saying that
for
20
2
games of
years.
Puljujärvi's hip hurting
Yes.
him ruined his career.
I never said ruin his career, but I say that ruined his season last year. And anybody who says wrong, anybody who disagrees that his injury hurt him last year is wrong.
So
I love
Bag
this.
Milk, how about that 6-1 hockey team we
I'm
have, eh?
super into this. I could listen to you guys argue
I
all day.
don't know. Like keep him down, man. Let the thing that has killed the Oilers for the last 10 years is they think the kids are the answer and they bring them up and hope that they can score 25 goals, and it's just.
And I don't think we're hoping that right now. I just want to see how he handles the NHL right now. And he's feeling it. He's very confident in his game. Let's pluck him in for a couple, and it's against lesser competition, and we'll plop him back down afterwards, and we'll see where we're at.
I
don't think it hurts anything to bring him up.
I want to give you, the listener, the last word on this. Would you pull up Yamamoto if this was your call? Hit us up at ON Radio Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Let us know what you think.
I'm going to lose the argument.
Are you with Rick or are you with the rest of the room? Me? I'm with our friends at skipthedishes.ca. Why? Because I'm hungry. Secondly, because I'm lazy. Thirdly, because I can do a tour of all the beautiful restaurants that I want, all in one place without leaving my couch or putting pants on, thanks to skipthedishes.ca. They are a wonderful place for nourishment. Go to skipthedishes.ca and pick from thousands of restaurants. However, once again, I must ask, I must beg of you, please reach out to the powers that be at Arby's and get them on skipthedishes.ca. Arby's are disappearing. They are the white rhino of delicious meat treats. We can't have them go away. We can't. Skip the dishes, I beg of you. Nick
Also,
begs of you.
I just got an email from Skip the Dishes as we're recording this podcast, and they would like me to play Monopoly at McDonald's via Skip the Dishes.
Oh, we need to get a table
We
board.
do need to get that going.
Table board for the boys. Fries, coffee. We don't even have to leave. We can just get skipthedishes.ca to bring it all to us. Beautiful. Beautiful. Changing gears a little bit, I want to preview tonight's game against Detroit.
No, I'm not done yet. No, I'm not done with the Yamamoto yet.
We have got, as I mentioned earlier, Gaetan Haas is in. Marcus Granlund is out. Joakim Nygard is out 2 to 4 weeks with a rib injury. Joel Persson got banged up against Chicago. William Lagesson got recalled yesterday. Though, according to Jason Gregor's GDB that is up now at OilersNation.com, Ladgson's not playing tonight. Brandon Manning, the goal per game scorer, remains in the lineup. And I want to touch on that a little bit before we move on to tonight's game. Did anybody else have their brain blown through their skull to see McDavid to Manning and in
McDavid does
against the Flyers?
McDavid does it again, where last year he had that moment that we slapped on a T-shirt and where he had 3 Flyers draped all over his back, and he does it. He goes out and he does it again, where he just undresses some Flyers players and scores another beauty.
The Oilers
on a pass from Chris Russell, by the way. But then he gets to feed Brandon Manning to go ahead of Tobias Reeder and Milan Lucic.
Still blows my mind that Brandon Manning's an Edmonton Oiler.
Do you think his clavicle quivered as he passed that puck back to Brandon Manning?
I was hoping that Brandon Manning could find a way to fight himself. I'm still mad.
Right now, he's leading the Oilers in expected goals for. If you look at the advanced stats, so Brandon Manning, he's the all-star of the team needs. Maybe why bring up Yamamoto? We got Brandon Manning.
Throw him on the wing. Why not? Work for Brent Burns, although you went the other way. I can see it. Brandon Manning up on the third line, left winger. Tyler?
Tonight, like every single sign points towards the Oilers just demolishing the Wings tonight, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people
Wings
are going
lost
to be
last night 5-1 in Calgary.
In their last 3 games, they've been outscored 15-4. Mm-hmm. Like they're playing terrible. They're at the end of a long road trip.
So this is one of those games where I need to see that the Oilers can absolutely demolish a team that they should. Yeah. If they have any moments like they did against Philly in the second period where the opposition is running the show, that is a real bad look considering how weak the Red Wings are right now. They don't have Connor. They don't have Leon. They don't have Nuge. They don't have the heater, James Neal. This should be a rout. Will it be, though? Any given Sunday, right?
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. Like, a lot of people are going to be listening to this podcast tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. I really hope we don't look really dumb for sitting here being like, well, the Oilers are going to trounce the Red Wings. But, like, Edmonton, best power play in the league. Detroit, 26th. Edmonton, 5th best PK in the league. Detroit, 25th. Like, the special teams favors Edmonton. Jonathan Bernier is not that good of a goaltender. He got shelled for 5 in his last start out against Vancouver. Like, they should be tired. It's the end of a road trip for him. To me, the Oilers should pump him.
Any former Oilers, first-time NHL players, or goalies who don't usually do it but are about to stand on their head? Anybody?
Well, Bernier sucks,
sure.
So
Bernier's due for a Vezina caliber appearance tonight.
Bernier right now has an expected goals against of 3.5. So if we're setting that at the over/under, hey Tyler, over/under 3.5 goals on Bernier tonight.
I like the over.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, you pump that over.
Is that a...
No, I'm just looking at his expected goals against. It's an even 3.5.
Our resident degenerate has headed to his sports book to see.
Well, Tyler is looking at the prop bets.
Yeah, like to go back to the special team stuff, Detroit's power play, like Tyler said, 10%. They've scored 2 power play goals in 7 games.
But those numbers are all like, they're well and good, but like I've watched the Edmonton Oilers enough to know that teams that they should demolish tend to do it to us. I've seen it too many times before to get overconfident going into a game, regardless of how shitty the opponent is. We're talking about the NHL here.
Yeah,
we're talking about the NHL. Players don't make it to this league by winning a lotto ticket.
No, Anthony Mantha has 10 points right now. So like he's playing well. Bertuzzi and Larkin both have 7 points. So that top line is rolling. Watch out. Like you definitely watch out for them, especially at 5-on-5. We talked about it already. We're not playing very well at 5-on-5. So we kind of do have to rely on the special teams in this game and hope that Detroit does take some penalties. They're 17th in penalties they've taken this year. They've taken 23 penalties. Or they've been shorthanded 23 times, which is 17th most in the league. So there's an opportunity there to just have this power play just hammer them home and just, take advantage again of a team that played Calgary the night before. Like this happened with Philadelphia. We're getting the advantage again. I guess I didn't even realize that Jimmy Howard and Bernier are basically splitting the season. So it can't say it's their backup goalie, but
they have 2 backup goalies.
Yeah, I still kind of like Jimmy.
I think it's important that like Tippett lit into the team after a game where they, should have lost because of their effort, but they didn't.
Should have stuff.
Well, yeah, but we just talked about it with Smith and how he's given us the magic beans going forward. But I just think that I think that this team is a little bit different, at least in that we're not resting on the fact that we just beat the Flyers 6-3, which looks like a score that's pretty handily taken.
This is coming down to like culture in the dressing room.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
everybody hates that word, but
The water.
the guys in
culture.
the room. This has nothing to do with the coaching or anything. It's about the guys in the room coming out and getting on the ice and taking it to them from the opening faceoff. And I think with some of the new guys in here, I think the team just seems to be a little more prepared. Like that Chicago game, we came out guns ablaze and we easily could have up 3-0 right away in that one. You know,
I think
goaltending kind of killed us against it.
Could have. I thought you
Got
didn't.
rid of those could have.
Should have been.
Well, they should have lost to Philly.
Talking about a new guy, if you want to call him that. I want to go ahead and pump Ethan Bear's tires a little bit. The guy is unbelievable right now. He's averaging 1953 through 7 games. He's played over 22 minutes in 3 of the last 4 games, scored an absolute beauty of a goal against Philly. One of those kind of goals where we haven't really seen an Oilers defenseman score like that. He kind of moves like a forward a little bit from the back end, and I really appreciate it. And I want to throw this over to Rick tonight because the Oilers are wearing their 3rd jerseys for the first time this season.
So am I.
And which jersey did you just get?
I got 74.
Got
Ethan
a
Bear,
fresh
74?
Ethan Bear.
Ethan. Now, some dude did put on my Twitter that he's like, I heard he's changing his number soon. So
Whatever. You have an OG Bear jersey.
Yeah,
now.
OG
That's even
Bear.
cooler.
Touche. Well, I think they'd do it for free. I think they'd probably take the numbers off for free anyways.
I don't think they offer it because you got it. I'm assuming you got it done at a store where they like
Oilers store.
Yeah, the Oilers store where they custom make it. Or was it like on the
Did
shelf? Did you pull it off the
there? He pressed. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's done right in the store though.
Yeah, you can't take those off.
No?
Yeah, but I like the OG 74 though.
Yeah,
It's just
me
like
too.
the
I like
people
the
that
OG
have,
74.
and I know things didn't really go the way that we had all hoped for them, but like the people that have the OG 39 Puljujärvis,
The
I like those,
64
man.
Yakupov.
There's a couple. I think Smitty Ward. Yeah, right. And then I think Hork may have had a weird one too.
it's sweet.
But back to Bear, this has been great. Like he's handling top 4 minutes, seemingly like he's a 5-year vet is the way he's playing right now. He's moving the puck well. He makes smart decisions. Like there's the odd blunder, but every player makes the odd blunder. The thing that worry me a little bit is we're only 7-8 games in. What's going to happen mid-November when they're still feeding him these minutes? Like, can he keep this up for an extended period of times? I know I'm being a little negative, but it's a legitimate concern to have.
I think we've seen a growth from him even just in this first 7 games where he's gone from deferring to the veterans, passing to the veterans when he had an open shot to now just unloading that laser beam.
Well, you learn as you go, right? So the other veterans will be they'll sit down and they're like, okay, this, blah, blah, and just talk about it. But the best thing for him is that he does not have to carry his D partner. Like Darnell, he had to carry his D partner all the time. He didn't get a cleft bomb, if you will, that got to train him and play with him for a full year. Who shot on, they were both on their proper sides. This is really, really good for him. And when he came out this year, he went out and had one hell of a summer. And according to Gregor in his article there yesterday, he figured out the proper way to eat and take care of his body. And now we take a look at it. And this is a guy who's not going to rest on anything. He's going to keep pushing himself. And he's only going to get better. And I brought this up to Wanye and Jay. And I said, I really, really hope he gets some quality points this year. Because I would love, and I don't expect him to get it, but I'd love to hear him in the Calder talk.
That's my hot take of the year. That
Yep.
Ethan Bear would be a runner-up for the Calder Trophy.
Second runner-up, you had said.
Second runner-up
To
for the
touch
Calder
on what
Trophy.
Tyler said, though, as of right now, Ethan Bear is second on the team in 5-on-5 time on ice. So if you're worried about him
Second on the team or second amongst D-men?
on the team on 5-on-5,
So only Dreisaitl's ahead of him?
Darnell Nurse.
What are Connor and Draisaitl?
Draisaitl's third and Connor's fourth. They're both at 118 minutes. Bear's at 123. Darnell's at 135. This is 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One question, like you brought up Draisaitl and McDavid, they're playing a ton of minutes right now. That again kind of points to the bottom 6 needing to contribute. I know Tippett didn't play those guys as much against Philly as he had in the past. Any concern from any of you guys that those two are playing way too much?
Well, they did it last year.
They did do it last year.
I don't know. I think they're special. Like you can run a defenseman out there for however long in the game. So there's the part of me that just goes, why can't you run 2 forwards out there?
This
for that
was the
kind
whole
of game?
Tortorella thing back in when the Lightning won the Cup in 2004, right? He was just running that top line of LeCavalier, St. Louis. I think LeCavalier was playing almost 26 minutes a night back then. So, and that was unheard of when forwards used to do that. So I kind of agree with you though, Tyler. It's like if they can and if they're contributing and you're winning, again, not sustainable, but yeah, why not?
You're not worried about an NBA term load management?
I'll put it this way: do you think McDavid or Draisaitl are going to get tired at any point?
No.
I would be worried about Draisaitl just playing so much shorthanded time. Just that I guess can lean more towards some injury if he's out there having to block.
I hate the idea of those two blocking shots.
Yeah, me too.
I know that's kind of like an NHL trend that everybody blocks shots, but I hate that.
Yeah. So that would be the one concern. But Draisaitl also is the best penalty killer we have right now. So it's
so
like,
good on the
face-offs
face-offs too.
What do you do? Yeah, he has 7 face-off wins shorthanded. It's like, what do you do? So I don't know.
There's been a couple times on the PK though where he'll come out, win the draw, they ice, and he's right off the ice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think Tippett, like, to me, you need to look at more than just what the hard minutes are. Like, to me, Tippett does a good job of, okay, they get a 55-second shift after a TV timeout or after a penalty kill. Like, he does a good job of making sure they're taking soft minutes. And I think that's something to keep in mind as well.
I want to get back to Ethan Bear really quickly because Rick brought up the interview that Jason Gregor did with him at OilersNation.com. He talks a lot about his summer training and how he completely readjusted it. I just want to read really quickly. He said, I think the summertime, it's easy to just relax and enjoy the summer, but I just made sure that once the season ended, we didn't go as far as we'd like in Bakersfield, but I knew once the season ended, I needed to prepare for the season right away. Usually I would take a few weeks off and enjoy myself, hang out with family, go home, party a little bit because I don't do it during the season, but I just kind of cut that out of my life. Cutting alcohol out was a big thing. That's actually a huge thing for me. Me and my girlfriend, Lanesia, made a big commitment to push all of that aside just to keep eating clean, basically maintain consistency. And so far, consistency was huge. So I love the idea of a guy kind of growing up a little bit, despite only being 22 years old and doing what he needed to do to be a pro.
I wonder how much of that motivation to do that in the summer was the fact that he kind of got
he got jumped by Caleb Jones on the depth chart.
And the fucking Swedes too.
I love the idea.
I think
of him
all of a
having,
sudden he was like number one a couple years ago. Now he's like 4 or 5.
I love the idea of him having a chip on his shoulder, looking at a guy like Caleb Jones and being like, fuck that, man. I am not getting passed on this depth chart. I am going to go out there and bust my ass and make this squad.
I don't even think it's like so much of a, like a fuck you to Caleb Jones or
like
anything.
a friendly competition.
Yeah,
kind of
and
idea.
it's just you realize because a year from now he's going to be waiver eligible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Him and Caleb Jones. I think both those guys should have recognized coming into the season that this is our make or break year. We have 82 games of NHL hockey to prove that we belong, or else our time in Edmonton could be done. And credit to Ethan Bear for just kind of grabbing the bull by the horns and completely taking advantage of it.
And I want to give a credit
to see where his year goes.
100%. Ethan Bear has been so much fun to watch. I cannot cheer for this kid enough. Just like I cannot cheer enough for the bite-sized morsels of 100% breast meat chicken coated in Mary's seasoning and served hot, crispy, and oh so yummy. Choose Thai sauce for a kick of sweet heat topped with sesame seeds only at Mary Brown's Chicken and Taters.
You gotta love Mary Brown's.
You gotta love it.
We gotta get a pop-in going here soon.
Absolutely we do. Boys, we got about 15 minutes left on this podcast, and I feel like this rumor is going to take up the bulk of the time we have left.
Oh shit, here
It's
we go.
a simple answer.
Is it?
This past week, Elliot Friedman was doing his thing, obviously one of the most respected insiders that this league has. And he said, it would not surprise me at all if Edmonton is a big suitor there, meaning for Taylor Hall. I don't know if they can make a trade, if they have enough to make a deal, but it just wouldn't surprise me. Put it this way, it has long been believed that Edmonton had a chance to correct the wrong and bring him back. They would certainly be interested. There's a new GM there now, so we shall see.
Yeah, I think sort of like the direction Friedman was kind of going was that it makes a lot of sense, and there's interest from the Oilers side. And it just allow me to explain this for a second. If they want to get Taylor, there's getting him at the deadline, and there's getting Taylor Hall as a free agent this summer. Getting him as a free agent this summer is interesting and almost more realistic to me.
Way more realistic. Wow.
Okay, let's get to the deadline though, right? So let's say we're at the trade deadline. The Oilers are second, third in the Pacific, wherever they are. Do you think Taylor Hall is the piece that makes them a Stanley Cup contender?
Possibly.
Well, he instantly comes in and he makes the wing better.
It's tough. Yeah,
but is he the
what the team is
piece?
like at
hang
that
on,
point?
just like, can we dream for a second? Imagine a line of Connor and Leon and Taylor Hall.
Unreal.
You couldn't stop it.
But my point is, would you still trust the defense and the goaltending enough to get you through an entire playoff run?
It's fair.
So to me, you're going to go to the deadline and you're going to give up a ton of assets. What are you going to give up? To me, the Mark Stone trade is a great comparable. They gave up Eric Brandstrom, a second-round pick, and Oscar Lindberg. Right now, if New Jersey called you and said, we want Evan Bouchard, your first round pick, even if they say next year, because Bouchard's not Brandstrom. Are you giving up Bouchard,
No.
a first or second round pick, and Jujar Kara for Taylor Hall?
No.
No.
Not trade. I'm not making that trade at all.
So then there you go. The Oilers shouldn't be interested in Taylor Hall at the deadline.
Well,
He's going to be too expensive as a trade prospect. Now he comes to July 1st. Completely different conversation.
That's why I kind of stirred the question to go towards the summer, because I think that's the more realistic chance.
But is it realistic if the guy's going to look for $12 million?
Yeah, the Oilers
or
have
something?
to make moves if they want to fit him in, and they also have to try and get him to
let's
take a discount.
Okay, so Taylor Hall, we think he's getting $12 million.
11 and a half, 12.
11. So you're going to be paying, I know it's stupid to do this sometimes, but you're going to be willing to pay Taylor Hall more than Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, because if you want Taylor, like, you're not going to go to Taylor Hall and be like, listen, I know this team's offering you 12. I know San Jose's offering you 12, Taylor, but we got to offer you 8 because of Leon.
So, okay, so if you sign Taylor Hall to $12 million.
Yep.
You kind of default that.
I had him at 8.5 here because I thought he was going to be getting more like 9. Well, because I heard it was more like 9 to 10 that he was looking for.
He's Panarin level. Panarin got 11 and a half. That guy doesn't have a Hart Trophy.
So that means we're adding, $3 million here? So that means out of McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, Hall, Neal, Cassian, and Jujar Kara, 7 forwards, you're looking at almost $50 million.
Hell yeah.
You have no cap space because with defensemen, Klefbom, Larson, Nurse, Bear, because Bear has to get an extension too.
Nurse needs a new deal.
No, that's what I'm saying. But Bear needs an extension for next year, and if we're looking around Nurse's numbers, he's probably like $3 to $3.5 million, right, for Bear? Especially,
I don't think for Bear.
Whoa, no.
That's is that not what Nurse is making right now? And that's what Nurse got on his bridge deal.
I don't think you're looking at a bridge deal for Ethan Bear after 1 year. I think you're looking at like the Matt Benning show me thing where it's 2 years, 1.9.
But if he ends up being like a Calder candidate, then
he won't be a Calder candidate.
Yes, he will.
Well, what are we doing here? Okay, so then let's say
if he has a good year, you're signing him for like 2 years, $2 million.
So then so then we're looking at $17 million for your defenseman. Plus, you have your goaltender sign for next year too. You're probably bringing back Mike Smith if he keeps playing well, or you're at least paying $2 million for a backup. That's $6.5 million. You're capped out with again no bottom 6 forwards signed at all. You're at $80 million. There's no fucking chance we're signing Taylor Hall, guys. There's no fucking chance if he wants $12 million.
And that's exactly what I've been saying for months now when people bring it up.
See, and I would rather when you bring up the assets it would take to trade for him, I think it would make more sense to just trade for him and go on a cup run and then let him go in the summer.
But then you're giving up Bouchard for a few months where you're probably not.
So when you bring it up like that, there's no chance I'm giving up Bouchard.
Make any money. Draft pick is cheap. It's free.
Rick's not on mic.
Rick is not on mic.
None of those guys make any money, so you can't really. You're not giving any of their money to Taylor at that point.
Yeah, like to me,
right? Boosh doesn't really get paid nothing. The draft pick gets paid nothing, and whoever the third prospect person gets
Looking
paid.
Looking at Puckpedia right now, they would have to hack away.
Well, yeah, you got to get rid of Chiasson's contract for sure, the $2 million, and you got to get rid of Chris Russell somehow because that's $6 million right there. But by the time you hit the trade deadline, if that's when you're trading for him, then with the way the cap structure works, is you don't actually need $6 million freed up. It's going to be prorated, right? So it's going to be more like. I don't know exactly.
They would still have to take Gagne.
It'd be more than half. So you only need $2.5 million in cap space to trade for him. But if you're giving all that up to get Taylor Hall to bring onto a team that you're really adding him, you're probably going to be lucky to even get to the second or third round. Honestly, if we're being realistic, come on.
Yeah, I still don't trust their goaltending and defense enough to bring him to the cup. Unless someone gets stupid hot. But again, Do
you think we're playing the LA Kings in the first round or something? Second round, sorry?
No, the LA Kings aren't making the playoffs.
Ooh.
Anze Kopitar is still going to have 70 points.
Can't take him there.
He's got 8 points. He's having a good year.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat realistic in the summer. I think you can always make the money work.
Tyler, though? If you're capped out and you have nobody signed.
Yeah, $24 million right now. Project the cap goes up $2 million, which is probably a safe number. So you're at 26. Let's say Nurse costs you a hair over 20 or a hair over 6. So now you're sitting at $20 million. You give Taylor Hall 12, that gives you $8 million left over to fill out the rest of your forward group and the defense.
But then you would also have to, this is very close to my heart, because then you would have to assume that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is gone.
No, I don't think you do at all.
Could you re-sign
making it work.
Could you re-sign him at the end of his contract, Nuge? Because to me, you got to re-sign Nuge first, and then we can talk about bringing in Taylor.
It's an interesting look. I probably need to do a whole article on it to really get my full takeout. But to me, like I just said, you can get Hall and Nurse in this hypothetical dream world and still have about $8-9 million left over. If you get rid of Russell, then you have $13 million left over to sign.
Caleb Jones could step into that role.
Caleb Jones is a guy who plays cheap. Tyler Benson plays cheap next year. Kailer Yamamoto maybe plays cheap next year. Cooper Marody plays cheap next year. There's your third line.
If we're talking about Nurse's extension, what are you saying Nurse to?
6.5.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm looking at the number. I have them written right here. There's just no space. There is money.
Space.
Nick is aggressively tapping his.
There's just I don't know
now.
what to tell you, Tyler. There's like if you're signing Taylor Hall to $12 million for next year, you're committing at least like almost $50 million to 7 forwards. Unless I have these numbers wrong, Dan. And this is having Chase on off the roster.
I know you use puckpedia.com, so they have to be right.
Okay.
I did.
I know this maybe isn't the best thing for listeners to have going on, but allow me to just go through this.
Yes.
There are $24 million in cap space right now.
I'm just looking at
Next
going
season.
into next year.
Yeah, next season.
Yes.
The cap will go up at least $2 million, right?
You see, but that's bad cap management. You can't do that. You can't
Why
just
not?
assume it's going to, because it didn't go up last year when everyone thought
It
it was
went up like, didn't it go up like $1.50 or
It did
something?
not go up last year. No, it didn't. No, they didn't use their escalator. It's been 81.5 for 2 seasons in a row.
Stair boys.
You can't. Yes.
Didn't
you
use the
can't,
escalator.
You can't
Thank
cap manage like that because then that's when you get crunched and then you can't have anything. So assume it's not going up.
Okay,
just
then
for the
you're
sake of
signing
it.
Nurse for 6.5.
Right.
You're signing Hall for 11.5.
Okay, sure.
He gets Panarin money. Now you're sitting with $6 million. Who do you still need to sign? Bear?
You have no forwards. You have no bottom 6 forwards signed. All
Arguably
those guys
we
are
do
signed to
right
1
now.
million 1 year contracts.
You got to get, like we said, you got to get rid of Russell and Chase on.
Yes.
So now you're back up to 12 mil. You're back up another 12 mil.
You got so much space.
There's just no way it's happening. You got to look at goaltending too. Like who are we?
Yeah,
bringing
you're signing
Smith
a
back?
backup goalie for like you're signing Smith for like $1.5 million.
He's taking less money next year.
Probably he's older. And if he doesn't want to sign, then I go find someone else because I don't think Mike Smith's that good.
I know you don't. I just don't think the numbers are working the way you think you're going to, because when you have all these guys signed, you're looking. Plus, don't forget about dead cap space, right? We got
well, that's
$4.5 million.
That's included in the $24 million in cap space.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had it included or not. But
Yeah.
when
So
you have that included,
you sign a goalie for 2, you're down
you're-
to 10. You sign Bear for 2, you're down to 8. Your third line is the 3 young kids that make close to league minimum, so you're down to about 5, and you're sitting with $3 million to sign your 4th line. There you go.
Tyler doing some hot math here.
you're not close.
The Leafs make it work with Matthews, Tavares, Marner.
Are the Leafs making it work though?
But
are the Leafs making it work?
Yeah, they're playing right now in the NHL season and are under the salary cap.
But they're going to be super interesting next year because they only have 1 defenseman signed for next year.
Yeah, next year they actually have a good. Like I think they could. Honestly, I don't think the Leafs are as screwed as some people make them out to be.
They're super screwed. They have 1 defenseman signed long term, and it's Morgan Riley. Who's their best defenseman?
Yeah,
granted.
they got the big piece signed. And how much money do they have this summer? Like you can sit there and say they have 1 D-man signed next year, but how much money do they have?
This is just another reminder that Austin Matthews still isn't a point-a-game player in his career. I just want to throw that out there. Still not. In fact, he doesn't even have as many goals as James Neal this year. He's not even as good as James Neal, and people are talking about him in
he's
Draisaitl.
definitely better than James
I don't know
Neal.
about that. I don't know. He's supposed to be a good goal scorer, Tyler, and he's 1 behind James Neal. So
I am having fun this
The
episode.
Leafs are going to have about $16 million in cap space next summer, and that is with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of their current NHL forward sign. So pretty much an entire forward sign.
but no defenseman.
Okay, but they could have $15
They have no
million
defenseman.
to sign defensemen. They can probably sign Barry for that money.
No.
they can't.
No chance.
No way.
Well, maybe like they could sign probably one of Barry or Muzzin.
And also, we don't know what do they have coming.
Man.
Who are their Caleb Joneses and Ethan Bears?
Rasmus Sandin, yeah, like they have.
also
They gotta
Yeah.
have one or
coming
two
up.
guys that can come up and for like $850.
They also need a goalie next year, I see.
But then you're talking about
Hutchison
NHL
700K
defensemen.
again.
I don't know
about
why
guys
the
playing
fuck we're
NHL
talking
minutes
about
with him.
Toronto.
My point is, I just don't think teams are as screwed as you think they are, Nick.
No, and the
like
cap
there's
space
ways to
thing-
make money.
Yeah, like, dude, I'd take it to cap. Take as much as you can all the time.
We already know that we have an owner here. in
Figure it
Edmonton
out after that.
He's
Yeah.
willing to spend the money.
Dude,
Right.
cap space sat upstairs in the attic there for fucking a full fucking year and didn't
He
do a
did.
goddamn thing for us.
Yep.
Got us
Cap
accordion.
space is stupid.
Yep. We got an
Spend
accordion
your
for that,
fucking
by the
money,
way.
man.
We got an accordion for that. That's still upstairs as well.
Yeah, we got to do something with this.
Yeah, I got to learn how to play it.
Oh, I thought we were trading it.
Or I might just learn how to play it.
Don't know what you're
fair.
talking about, Rick. Never heard of anything about a trade.
I'll put my hat outside, little brick, play you a nice tune,
Oh, I like that.
right? It'd be really excellent.
Get you on White Ave.
Absolutely.
Army and Navy by the Mad Stomper.
Yeah.
guy still
Or
around?
outside of Rogers Place, and I could be by the Pale Guy.
Ooh, touche.
He can put the beat down. I'll just play a little accordion.
Oh, it's a duet.
Absolutely. Sticking with rumors to close off this week's podcast. The TSN Insiders had the Carolina Hurricanes are kicking tires on Jesse Puljujärvi.
They have been since like the beginning, haven't they not? At least
Yeah.
they've been rumored in there. Obviously, it goes dead for a little while they try and everybody tries to figure out what they have and
They
kind of
love
figure
their
their own
fins.
bullshit out. But
They love fins.
My question for you guys about Jesse Puljujärvi is, do you think there's any chance that he's looking at the success the Oilers are having right now and feeling a little bit of FOMO? Or is it so far
Yes.
gone that he just doesn't care?
I think he
cares.
I think he's committed to playing in Europe for the year, and he's not. I don't think he's gonna a month from now be like, you know what, Kenny, I'll take a deal. I'm coming back.
I don't know if he's coming back, but
cares.
I don't know if he's going to come back like that. But I can guarantee you, he's keeping an eye on the league.
Yeah, of
he's
course
keeping
he
an eye
is.
on the team.
He wanted to be on this team.
Yeah,
he wanted to be on this team from the get go.
Yeah, I guarantee you,
And he was
he's
out.
keeping a bit of an eye on the team. And you know what? It's only human nature.
You want what you can't have, Tyler? Story of my life, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Is his agent still his agent by the end of the year?
That's an
Probably.
interesting question.
God, I hope not for his sake. That
I
guy
just-
is a mouthpiece.
I still can't get over it. Like, I know the agent works for the player. I get that. But the agent's responsibility is also to help his client make the best choices possible. And I just don't know that Jesse's getting that. He's still a young kid. Yes, he's a man, but he's still a young kid.
He is.
I don't know that spending the year in Finland is going to help him get closer to what he's doing.
Marcus
I think it gets
Lato
him back
quit.
into like just his natural self-confidence. He's leading the league. He can't be any better than that. I mean, just, your competition is what your competition is. It's just like saying a guy in junior isn't that good because he's scoring against a junior goalie.
Not since Jared has a Lato caused so many issues.
The best jokes are the ones you have to explain, I guess.
The Joker? Suicide Squad?
Oh,
All
God.
right. All
Oh,
right.
man.
I like him.
Okay.
Was it popular?
Well, I just want to, I guess we can wrap up this week's
You're
episode
welcome.
of Oilers Nation Radio. Around the horn, because I want everybody to make fun of us if we're wrong. Score predictions real quick for tonight's game against the Red Wings. Tyler, I will start with you.
5-1 Oilers.
5-1 Oilers. Rick,
6-2.
6-2 Oilers, I'm guessing. I'm going to go ahead and say the Oilers are winning 4-1, and I'm going to do another Brumcast on Instagram after the game. Nick?
Well, I was going to say 5-1 too, so I'll go with that too, Tyler.
Dan.
4-3 in overtime for the Oilers.
4-3 in OT.
OT.
Unbelievable.
I think we're due for one of those games where we just kind of, we struggle a little bit. It should be an easy win. All your scores should be correct, but I'm thinking 4-3 in overtime.
Be sure to tweet your hatred at The Nation Dan.
There you go.
And I want to go ahead and
For
thank...
that joke.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that?
Wow. I want to go ahead and thank Sherwood Ford the Giant, skipthedishes.ca, and Mary Brown's Chicken and Taters for making all of this possible, and every single one of you for listening. I want to also ask you to go ahead and subscribe. I want to ask you to tell a friend, a coworker, a cousin. Tell them about Oilers Nation Radio, airing every single Friday.
Free.
It's free.
It's free to do it.
Download, subscribe everywhere.
Free to hear us yell at each other about Taylor Hall.
And
love
Leafs content.
And cap space, Tyler.
I love it.
Let's go.
I love it.
And Yamo. Don't
And
forget about
Yamo.
Yamo. Why does everyone always forget about Yamo?
Tyler, hit the button.
Shout out Damien.
Best wishes. Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media to stay up to date and never miss a podcast.